Welcome to this week's FPL Sheeple podcast, a podcast which serves you all the great FPL content out there on a plate. The FPL Sheeple podcast is available on YouTube and on all popular podcast platforms. Please follow us at FPL Sheeple on Twitter for latest updates. We come to you in between Gameweek 33 and 34, where it was Wood and Iheanacho antics in FPL, but it was Nacho best week for one of us. I'm your host, Carling FIFA, and I'm joined by my co host, FPL Donatello, who can tell us a little bit about his week. How was it, Donatello?
Hey, yeah, if you go by the intro song for our podcast, it was exactly that. It was really, really sad. I got like 35 points and you can do -8. So, it was one of the worst weeks in FPL for me. Uh, I mean, you can't help it, but you know, we move forward from here. I think I have a good team template to go forward,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just one of those game weeks where none of my midfield performed, and like some of the players, especially Nacho, he saved the game week for me. So
Uh,
a bad game week, but it is what it is. We move on from there. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was a reasonable game week for me, and we'll take a look at our teams
Yeah,
later in the podcast. It
yeah,
was it was a decent week for me, but yeah, I can totally understand the feeling when it's not a good week, and especially if the points are towards the low end. Plus, you when you've taken hits, it becomes even harder.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk in this podcast about what to do when it's not your week, and we'll see how we can bounce back from this.
I know. So let's go. Let's get straight to the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
This week we are going to review what Game Week 33 was for us, both of us. We're going to discuss if the sheeple are a bit lost.
Hmm.
And by this we mean, did we play our wild cards too early, and what are the repercussions of it? So we're
Yeah.
going to discuss a bit more on it. We're also going to do the content creator team review for Game Week
Mm-hmm.
33, um, and we'll discuss how it turned out for all the 20 content creators that we use
Mm-hmm.
or refer to,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to see the template teams and who did how. So that's
Yeah.
that's going to be our creator team review for Game Week 33.
Yeah, and then obviously we'll pick the one who scored the highest points in Game Week 33 as our
Mhm.
Game Week 34 Creator of the Week. We talk
Yeah,
about who the creator is and what they do, and we'll take a look at their teams and their picks, and then we'll go into the Game Week 34 preview where there is a question that's whether to bring back Kane or Son if you don't have either of them, and we'll take a look if that's necessary to do, or you can stay without having these two players. All right.
right.
So let's start with Game Week 33 review. FPL Donatello, why don't you recap Game Week 33 for us?
Absolutely. So, Game Week 33, we had Neil Rig, or as his alias is Conto Riga,
Mm-hmm.
as our creator of the week. You can follow him on Twitter at Conto Riga. He is a contributor to the Fantasy Football Scout website. And we referred to an article that was published by Football Scout a few days before the game week started. And as you can see on the screen, these were some of the picks suggested by Neil. Um, multiple player suggestions for each position: goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and forwards. And we picked few players out of the suggestions. I had 3 transfers which I made. I took
Hmm.
-8 last week because I thought I would definitely benefit from these suggestions because they were really good in retrospect. And although the game week turned out bad for me, but I feel like going forward these changes will help me out. So as you can see, Carling went with the very differential Connor Townsend,
Hmm.
but I don't think it worked well for you, mate. Uh,
No.
because that game was entertaining, but like no clean sheet for West Brom, and no attacking returns by Connor. And
Yeah.
as you can see, both of us had Adama Traore. We trusted Wolves' great
Hmm.
run of form, but it didn't work out for us. And then I had Jamie Vardy in as well, but again that was a blank for me. And then I had another shocker. Like I was going to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold, but instead of Trent, I picked Andrew Robertson because I thought I picked him while making the transfers, but apparently not.
Yeah.
And then he had a shocker as well. So that was these were like some of the suggestions by Neil, and these were
Yeah.
and the picks made by us.
Yeah.
So
So,
going to our teams, Carling, why don't you start with like the with your review for your team?
yeah, I mean, I just have to point out. I mean, I understand you got Robertson by mistake, but as far as mistakes can go, a friend of the podcast last week mistakenly captained Chris Wood, and look how that turned out for him. So I would say don't lose hope.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was,
Robertson.
and you remember we mocked him
Yeah,
for forgetting to.
yeah,
He was going to captain Salah, and we were
yeah.
mocking him for captaining Wood. And oh my god, like he got like around 89 points this
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
insane.
That was unbelievable.
So
I mean, yeah. So anyway, yeah. Let's take a look at our teams. So we'll start with my team. I ended up getting 55 points. Um, but I had made two transfers, so I had -4. So I would say the aggregate score is or net score is 51, which I would feel is reasonable. My game week rank was around 750-ish K, and so that gave me sort of a very good green arrow, and I'm back again
mhm.
in the 630K range, which I feel I've been around for a long, long time. But that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is expected, and yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's. I mean, you got a decent haul for this game
yeah,
week, and
yeah,
definitely helped you with boosting your overall rank.
yeah,
So I
exactly.
feel like you did well this week.
Yeah, so I had Martinez in goal who conceded, and he got just 2 points. And I mean, my second keeper is Ariola, who didn't feature last week. So I mean, he didn't. There was Fulham didn't have a match, so that's fine. So Martinez got 2 points. Shaw, who returned well, got the bonus points, got the clean sheet, so he got 8 points. Rob Holding, who once again blanked as Arsenal lost to Everton, so Holding got 2. Townsend, who once again it was a sort of a punt, and I felt if I got any returns out of that, I would have been really happy, but I didn't. He blanked, and
Yeah.
it's fine. I mean, it's I think in the end Townsend will probably be on my bench in the future game weeks, but it has freed up some cash for me to play
Cash.
around.
Hmm.
Yeah, my team with and Salah, who was my captain, got one goal and then misfired and missed a lot of chances to just end up
Oh,
on 9 points.
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
It was painful watching that match.
super painful. Should have been far more than that. So he got 18 points. Bruno has continued his consistency of blanking every week. So he got just 3 points last week as well.
Mhm.
Adama Traore,
Yeah.
another punt. Was the wrong player in that game that we went for. Should have gone for Chris
Yeah.
Wood, but we went
Yeah.
for Adama. But I mean, Wolves' form or his form sort of suggested that he could go big. He did not, unfortunately. So 1 point for him. Lingard with 2, and Jota, who was benched early or rather substituted before 60 minutes, so he just got 1 point. Again, he was a frustrating watch. He could have scored more points. Ollie Watkins
Right.
with the most dodgy assist of the weekend. So he got 5 points, and
Yeah.
Iheanacho was really amazing, and he got 12 points. He was my vice captain, but that's fine. I mean,
Right.
yeah. So overall, a decent week, good green arrow, and I'm happy. I think I'm well well equipped to navigate the next weeks because I still have Kane on my bench, and so we'll take a look at my team for 34 later. So let's go
Okay.
to your team then.
All right, everyone. Let me take you along the walk of shame for me. I got 35 points. I took -8, so I have essentially 27 points for this game week, which is one of my worst game weeks ever while playing Fantasy Premier League. As you can see, I got 35 points all because of Iheanacho and Strike, who was my first sub. He was not supposed to play, and
Mm.
all he got subbed in because Alonso didn't feature. So I got those 18 points. Otherwise, I would have ended up below 20, which would have been disastrous. But I'll walk you through my team. I had Martinez, again blanked this game week. Target and Robertson. Target didn't do it, blanked again. Robertson got the bonus, but he had a couple of chances that game against
Mm.
Newcastle, but it was unlucky.
Yeah.
Strike had a really strong match against United, so I'm glad he was my first sub and he came in with those 6 points for that clean sheet, and he was a saving grace for my game week this time. My midfield is completely disaster. As you can see, I had Rafinha who didn't feature or didn't play, so I have a
Mm-hmm.
fat zero for him. Uh, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like everyone has either 1, 2, or 3 points. Traore, Lingard, Fernandez, Jota, everyone had like 1, 2, or 3 points. So
Yeah.
that was a very bad midfield. I made Vardy captain based on his previous match where he got like 13 points. So I thought he would continue his form, but he missed out on a few opportunities. But he blanked. The only guy who saved my game week was Inacho.
Mm.
Um, Even though it was not Nacho my week, but like I'm glad he's in my team. So
Yeah.
I went down in my rankings by like 70,000 ranks, which is absolutely disastrous for me this game week. But uh, as I said, it is what it is. Whatever happens for a reason. I feel like like the team that I have made so far is a good team
Yeah.
set up for a good finish. So hopefully,
Yeah.
game week 34 onwards, things will be on a brighter side. So yeah, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
looking forward to positive game week 34. So
Yeah.
Carling, why don't we move on to create a team review for game week 33?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that.
So before we review our creator teams for Game Week 33, we wanted to give a big shout out to
Mm.
FPL Net. Um, uh, they came up with this feature. Live FPL came up with this feature, which is not in production yet, or which is not available to everyone yet. But this allows you to create a custom league where you put in the team IDs of specific teams that you want to
Mm-hmm.
monitor, and you can create a custom league for your own. So we reached out to Live FPL as soon as he released this feature, and he was kind enough to create our own
Yeah.
league, which is called as FPL Sheeple Podcast League.
Mm-hmm.
The link to that league is down in the presentation, and we will also share it with the podcast. But
Mm-hmm.
you can follow this league, which has the team IDs of all the 20 content creators that we are using for this format, and also both of our teams are in
Yeah.
there, so you can follow how we are doing each week. And Carling, do you have anything to say on this?
Yeah, I mean, Live FPL was tweeted out asking for if anyone wanted a custom league page, and we just
Yeah.
had to hand him the IDs, and we approached him, and he set this page up within like minutes. So yeah, big shout out to
Yeah,
him,
I
big
mean,
thank you
and
to him.
also shout out to Carling, because due to time difference,
Yeah,
I was sleeping during that time,
yeah,
and he was awake, and he jumped on that tweet, and he made the
yeah,
most
yeah,
of
yeah.
it. So that's why we have this league of our own.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be nice, and yeah, just you can follow us, and you can follow the link, and be up to date to what's going on with the FPL Sheeple League. All right, so then
Right.
let's move on to the spreadsheet, and let's take a look at why some content creators did better than others.
Hmm.
Okay, so as usual, we have our spreadsheet with the 20 content creators, their game week points, their total points, overall rank, and all their players that they have picked. The players, as usual, have been arranged in the order of which they were commonly picked across the 20 teams. So, like for example, Iheanacho was picked by all 20 content creators, so he's the top player here. And if we move to the right of the spreadsheet, we get to know about the picks that were unique to certain content creators, such as, for example, you have Chris Wood, who was only in the team of the content creator who got the most points this week. So yeah, so Ben Krellin is our content creator of the week. He got 77 points. He had Chris Wood. Nacho was his captain. I mean, that's like a double whammy right there. So yeah,
I
he
mean, yeah, talk about a really good differential pick. Like that's
yeah.
called a differential. That's what sets you apart from
Hmm.
all 19 content creators, where you have just one player who got 20 points, and
Yeah.
that's it. Like you get such a big boost to your overall points and overall rank. So it was insane pick by Bren, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's an instantaneous boost over everyone else, and that's exactly what that means. That is the differential. I mean, even his captain is a differential pick because he's
Hmm.
only one of six content creators who captained Iheanacho, whereas most of them went for Salah. There are a
Yeah.
few. There is one content creator, so Chaz Phillips, who was previously our creator of the week in Gameweek 32, if I'm not wrong, and Trent was his captain, and Nick.
Chaz with an extra differential there,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah, and it wasn't a bad shout. I mean, Trent could have got something from that game, and you could have seen Chaz once again top our charts. Uh, but yeah, and then at the bottom we have Nick from Who Got the Assist and Andy Let's Talk FPL YouTube channel. They got 42 and 48 respectively. They seem to, I mean, if we take a look at the sort of the players that are most commonly picked by all these content creators, is a fairly
Hmm.
tight set, I would say, because for example, there are six players that are at least in like 15 or 16 of these 20 teams, so which means
Yeah.
they all have that hive mind or have these similar picks which do not set them apart. I guess it's about these middle picks which are different and gaining you points. So for example, Rudiger and Shaw are just in about half of these content creators teams, and so then one half gets the points from
Yeah, also
Rudiger.
I want to point out Castagne.
Yeah.
He got like 9 points. So
Oh yeah,
I
that's
guess
true.
four content
Yeah.
creators had him in this game week.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
also like a really good differential pick,
Yeah,
which helped some content creators be apart from the rest of them. So uh,
exactly.
um, yeah, so Wood, Castagne. I guess Dallas got a clean sheet as well.
Yeah.
So Dallas, as well as Rudiger and Shaw. But
Yeah.
as you said, most of them had them both. So
Yeah.
uh,
And
yeah, pretty much
yeah,
same set of players.
exactly. And that's again, as we always say on the pod, that this is the point of the spreadsheet, is to give you an aggregated view of what all the player picks are. We also have
Yeah,
if you're watching us on YouTube, we have a ticker at the bottom of the screen that shows you the template team of the players that are most commonly picked by these content creators. So that sort of, I would say, a sort of a guidance to all us sheep people, to know which players are good picks, and maybe if we are trying to steady the ship, we try to get some of those players in, provided the next game week is good for those players. So yeah, just check out the template team. And so if you don't have some picks, and if you just want like a uh, just a blind suggestion of which player you can go for, you can just take a look at the template team and just pick a couple of players from there and put them in your team. So yeah, so
yeah.
that's
Also,
yeah, gone.
and also to add to Carling's point, if you have a template team already, but if you want to, you know, break free from that league or like
Hmm.
mini league of yours and get some boost in your rankings,
Yeah.
go to the right. There are some really
Yeah.
good differentials. picks, not just in this spreadsheet, but in our previous spreadsheet as well. Like
Yeah,
every week, there is some content creator who has a really good differential pick, or which sets them apart from everyone else.
yeah.
So it's a good starting point, or like a good data set for all you guys to refer to, and pick one of the players which might help you get that boost that you need.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, yeah, so you have your Chris Woods, your Aspilicuetas, your Lucas
Yeah,
Digne, which have been picked by just one of these content creators, but they are giving you all these points here as indicated. So 26 and 6. We hope this
so
helps you
Carling,
as well.
what do you think Chris Wood's effective ownership will be going into game week 34?
Well, yeah, I don't think a lot of people will buy him because I think the strikers are pretty well set. I mean, I think people are going to go for the usual pool of Iheanacho, Kane,
Yeah,
and Vardy, and I mean, I think most people are going to move towards the left of this spreadsheet
right.
towards the more template
Yeah,
players, and I think Chris Wood, even though he got 20 points, I mean, obviously you're going to see a large amount of people just jumping on him, but I don't know if
yeah,
people who are considering him as a serious option just yet. Maybe
right.
one more week, and then people might consider him. All
Right.
right.
All right. So moving on from our spreadsheet, as I said, you can refer to the spreadsheet. We are going to put the link up on the video. So Carling, why don't you introduce us to the creator who won Game Week 33?
Yeah, sure. So our winner for Game Week 33 is Ben Krellin, and yeah. So Ben Krellin, his Twitter is at Ben Krellin, and he also is a content creator on the Fantasy Football Hub website. So Ben Krellin is very popular in the FPL community. He's very famous for being the person who keeps track and predicts double game weeks or blank game weeks much ahead, much before the official FPL
Mm,
website does this. So if you want to be if you are a sort of a long term planner, and if you want to know how to steer your team for, let's say, 5 game weeks in the future or 6 game weeks in the future, then you should make sure to follow Ben Krillin on Twitter, because if there is a double game week or a blank game week in the next 5 or 6 game weeks, he will be on top of it. He will already be making combinations and giving his opinion on what is the most likely scenario for these double or blank game weeks, and then you can therefore start planning or getting in players way in advance. Then be surprised by the FPL website just throwing out a double or a blank game week at you. So yeah, make
yeah,
sure to follow Ben Krillin on Twitter, and you will be on top of the double and blank game weeks way before many other people. So
right.
he's doing really well this year. His current rank is 3,300, which is amazing, phenomenal.
Amazing. Yeah,
He's been having some great green arrows in the past few game weeks, so he's doing really well. Yeah, his best rank so far in his career, or I would say his 14 season career, has been his best rank has been 2,157. Yeah, so again, we have a content creator that's really a pro at this game. I would say he has had a top 10k finish 3 times and a top 50k finish 7 times. So yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So Ben has been really consistent, and his predictions of the double and blank game weeks have also been almost perfect throughout. So you can
Yeah,
follow and trust his predictions, and just pick players accordingly in your team. All right, so let's take a look at. I mean, it's so nice that Ben is our content creator of this week, because Ben believes, and this is obviously going to happen, is that a double game week is upon us. Game week 35 is mostly going to be a double game week, and it also depends because of European fixtures or whatever. Some teams who have a double game week 35 might have a blank game week 36. So this is something you can look at Ben's spreadsheet or his Twitter timeline, and you can have this at your disposal, and you can figure out which teams have this double game week and blank. What we have for you here is his fixture predictions for the next 5 game weeks, so including the doubles from 35 and the blanks from possible blanks from 36. At the top, we have Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Everton, and Southampton, who are guaranteed a double
Mm.
because Aston Villa versus Everton, if I'm not wrong, was postponed way back when
Yeah.
because of COVID, I think. And Crystal
Yep.
Palace and Southampton is also a match that's left. So these matches are going to happen most likely in game week 35. So these 4 teams are guaranteed a double. So if you are planning ahead, you can start to get in players, good players from these teams in your starting
Right.
11, and you should get double points whenever the double game week rolls around.
Right.
And we have 4 other teams which can have a potential game week 35, double game week 35. The 4 teams that can have that are Arsenal, Chelsea, Leicester, and Man United. And I think these are good teams to target because these teams are good defensively and good attacking wise. Um, I mean, you can go for the Chelsea players, the Leicester players, the Man United players, and some of the Arsenal defenders who also managed to keep a clean sheet because they're
Yeah.
going to have a double in game week 35. But the
Yeah.
caveat or the downside to that is that these teams will then blank in game week 36. So you have to account for that
Yep.
as well.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. The very first time I looked at one of Brent's planners or like these spreadsheets, I must admit I could not understand a single thing that was there. But then you get a knack of reading these spreadsheets,
Yeah.
and you understand how helpful they really are because there are indexes, there are indicators of what
Hmm.
cell each cell color stands for. Like for example, as you have pointed on your left, there are like keys which tell you which what the cell color means. So like the bright red ones means likely blank game week. So
Hmm.
as Carling said, the 4 teams that are below the sure shot 4 teams which are going to have double game weeks are possibly going to have a blank game week. So Ben gives you that planner which using which you can,
Yeah.
if you have any changes in mind, you can make those particular changes, especially for double game week teams, and avoiding some of the players for who might have a blank game week the week after. So
Yeah.
yeah, really good and helpful planners given to us by Ben Krellin. So shout out to Ben.
Yeah. And so, with all this in mind, he has already, he also tweets out his team plans. So, I'm just going
Mhm.
to uh, show his team plans for people watching the video, and I'll read it out for our listeners. So, again, this is a colorful table. So, don't be alarmed by the number of colors or the.
People who like me who cannot read understand this, you just have to look at it long enough to understand it,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
you'll get there.
Exactly. So yeah. So if you just ignore the colors for now, the simple idea here is that he simply points out which players he's going to transfer in a particular game
Mhm.
week and transfer out in a particular game week. So these two, first 2 columns are really useful that way. So for example, he was planning on bringing in Jamie Vardy and Michael Keane in game week 33. He
Mhm.
did not end up doing that because he felt that losing. I mean, he was going to transfer out Kane to bring in Vardy, but he saw that Kane might recover in time for game week 34, which is the next game week. So he
Yeah.
decided to hold on to Kane. So that's one thing, and then For example, you don't see number 34 in his transfer planner because he's not planning to make any transfers in the, I mean, this week between game week 33 and 34. But obviously, this planner is from the last week, and he might decide this week to make some changes based on his predictions of when the double game weeks are. And Ben has predicted that the double game weeks should be announced this week before the deadline of game week 34. So
Yeah.
it is sort of advised to all of us to not make transfers too soon. Wait for the double game week announcements, and if the announcement doesn't happen, you can make your transfers on Friday before the deadline, rather than
Right.
make it early. I mean, yeah, there are some places where you can make the changes early. For example, is if the price of a player is going to rise, and
Yeah.
you are going to you're not going to have cash to buy a player, you can make changes early, but generally it's a good
And
idea to
also,
wait. Yeah.
yeah, and also with the with Ben's plan of not making any transfers this game week, it's again, if there is a, like, once the game week 35 double game week is announced, it would make sense for him to have that additional transfer for the next week. So making no changes this week
Yeah.
makes sense to him, which would
Yeah.
allow him to make two transfers. I guess he will update that spreadsheet once the double game week is
Yeah.
announced and once he makes those transfers. So I guess that's one of the reasonings behind not making any changes. But I guess we've gone with whatever suggestions he has made based on his template team and some of the players that he suggested, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what we've done is, based on his team planner and his actual team, we've sort of
Mm-hmm.
taken a look at all of these things, and used, because we are going to follow Ben's suggestions or Ben's teams this week. Um, we've just taken a look at all the players that he has in his team right now, and
Yeah.
who he plans to get in game week 35, 36, etc., based on double or blank game weeks. And then we've decided what changes we should make. So
Okay.
let's take a look at a summarized list of the picks that he suggested, and then we can take a look at your team. So Ben has in general suggested to, so he's held on to Kane. So obviously
Mm.
Kane is a pick that he prefers. He also doesn't mind Vardy. So if Kane is not fit, and if there's doubts on his performance or whatever, you can go for Jamie Vardy. Chris Wood, because Ben had a massive advantage with
Yeah.
Chris Wood. It makes sense to have him, and he has good fixtures. So that's a good. Then he brought in Luca Digne last week instead of Michael Keane, and Luca Digne is one of the standout defender pick for Everton, and Everton are going to have a double game week in 35, or at least in one of the game weeks, because Everton are guaranteed a double game week. So that's a good idea. And DCL is another, or Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a good pick as well, because he's Everton. And eventually Ben is going to get in the Leeds assets, so like Bamford, from game week 35 or 36 onwards, because his fixtures get better. So yeah, so these are the
Yeah.
picks that we've sort of summarized from Ben's planner. And yeah, let's take a look at what Donatello has done for his team. So go on, Donatello.
Yeah, so not learning my lesson from last week, I've taken a -4 again.
Okay.
Um, so I have taken out Alonso because I don't think he's going to feature
Hmm.
in Chelsea matches a lot.
Hmm.
So I have taken out Alonso and I have Luca Dean in my team.
Yeah.
And the second change that I made was, I think I took out Rafinha because he's
Hmm.
injured and I don't think he's going to be featuring for a few more game weeks. So I got in Mason Greenwood because I saw that Ben has him in his team, and it is a
Yeah.
possibility that United might have that double game week
Yeah.
in 35.
Hmm.
So those are the two changes that I made. So I'm going to read out my team. In goalkeeper, I have Martinez, who again will have 2 games in game week 35. My defense is Matt Target, Luca Dean, and Andrew Robertson. Midfield is Adama Traore, Fernandez, Lingard, and Mason Greenwood. My forward line looks really strong on paper. I hope they give
Yeah.
me the returns. Harry Kane, Inacho, and Jamie Vardy. And my captain is Harry Kane, and my vice captain is Jamie Vardy. I have benched Jota because I feel
Hmm.
he's not giving any returns so far. I mean, he's a really good super sub, but whenever he has started from the last few game weeks, he hasn't given any returns, not even an assist. So, and also it's United away for Liverpool, so I feel it's going to be a tough match anyways for
Yeah.
Liverpool. So I have benched him, and I have put strike up before Jota because that could be another nil-nil draw, and if any of my players don't show up or don't play, he could be a really good super sub who helped me out last week. So that's going to be my team for game week 34. I hope. I
So
hope.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's up?
why not streak over target?
Um, I think I would rather prefer target over strike. I don't think. I mean, I'm hoping for a nil-nil draw between
Hmm.
Brighton and Leeds, but really, strike hasn't been like. I mean,
Yeah.
neither player have been doing really well, but I have that inclination towards my target over attacking returns.
Yeah.
He has because he has delivered those in the past, and strike is just like a standard defender who does not get any bonus points. He's a strong defender, but like he doesn't have any attacking returns. So between those both, I would always choose Matt Target. So that's essentially the
Yeah.
reasoning behind going for like Matt Target over strike.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And I think looking at your team right now, I think I want to go back to the point about that you made earlier in the podcast where you said that you had a very good team on paper, but you ended up not getting
Yeah,
many points last week, and I feel that's an important point. Even if we are following all these content creators, it's possible that following all these content creators you pick players and you have all the good players in your team, but you still end up with low points. Then that might make you sort of disenchanted with the game, and you might think that following the content creators is not useful and you should maybe stop doing that or whatever. It's sort of a mixed thing, I would say. It's like
yeah,
you have to take it with a pinch of salt. So for example, for Donatello's team, I really like this team. I mean, for example, Kane, Iheanacho, and Vardy, that's a strike force that's absolutely perfect, I would say, because you've got Kane, who's going to have the easy fixtures, and you have Iheanacho and
yeah,
Vardy, who are possibly going to get the double game week in 35. So
yeah,
he's already set up really well. So even though, let's say, he scored 35 points in game week 33, what if he scores like 100 points in game week 35 or whatever? So that's the sort of trade-off you have, that in the
yeah,
local view of a single game week you might be lost, or you might feel uh, that everything is
yeah.
useless, but you just have to set up your team, and I think that should be good. I mean, at least this is what the
Yes.
content creators say, and I believe in a patient approach, and so I think that, for example, Donatello's team looks good for the next few game
Yeah,
weeks.
absolutely. Stay positive, and maybe your walk of shame will turn into a Hall of Fame. So you
Yeah,
never know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
What about your team, Kale?
Yeah, so I have done something similar. So I had Joao Cancelo still hanging out in my team, and obviously,
Okay.
the thing is that I have been trying to get out and get out the players from which were had good fixtures in like sort of game week 28, 29, and I'm still phasing them
Right.
out slowly
Mhm.
and getting in players that have good fixtures right now. So finally I got rid of Joao Cancelo and I brought in Luca Digne, because yeah,
Mhm.
even though we are making the changes early this week, because Everton have a double game week guaranteed, Luca Digne I feel is a good pick, and so I brought him in instead of Joao Cancelo. So my team as of now is Martinez in goal, Rob Holding, Marcos Alonso, who yeah, you're right, he might not play, but since Chelsea had a midweek Champions League tie today. So it's possible that there might be some rotation, and if Alonso plays, he might score good points against Fulham. I have Luke Shaw, and then I have Luca Digne, obviously. Then I have Salah, Bruno, Lingard, and Adama Traore, who I'm giving
Mhm.
another chance to shine. I have Kane, who's my captain, and I have Iheanacho, who's my vice captain. And on the bench, I have Jota as my first sub. And so if Alonso doesn't play, Jota can come in. And yeah, Jota
Mm.
himself is not nailed and might be benched, but you know, he might just score a lot of points suddenly. And so yeah, he's my first
Well,
sub. Watkins my second sub, and Townsend, who's probably going to be a fixed item on my bench in the next few game weeks.
that's a good team. I just have one question.
Yeah,
Why do you have Watkins as a second sub?
yeah.
Uh, I would. I mean, he's giving like returns almost every game weeks in form of assists or like a
Yeah,
single goal.
those are all
Why would
shady,
you?
shady returns, my friend. I mean,
Right.
it's like, I mean, Watkins doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. They are traveling
Mhm.
away to Everton, and they haven't been creating much as well. I mean, I don't know. I feel that um, if there is someone from my subs, I mean, out of Jota and Watkins, if the one who has a higher possibility of getting more points is Jota, so that's why he's my first sub. Simple
Hmm.
as that.
Right.
Nothing
Right. Makes
else.
sense.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So these are our teams, and let's hope we have a good game week 34, and we don't
Yeah.
have to roll out another piece of sad music at the beginning of next week's podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I hope next week it's going to be rock and roll.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
hope that both of us end up with really good points.
Yeah.
Moving on to our game week 34 fixtures.
Yeah.
Um, Real quick, let's
Yeah.
just go through each one
Yeah.
of them and
Yeah.
feel. Southampton, Leicester. I think Leicester is going to win this.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to keep a clean sheet doing it,
Yeah.
but I think they're going to win this one. They are in form, and
Yeah. Sorry. Just give me a moment. I think there was some there was some issues with the audio. Yeah, and we are back.
so
Yeah.
what do you think?
So yeah. So going back to Southampton and Leicester. So what was the score that you said?
I feel Leicester might win it like 2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So I'm going for a 3-1 Leicester win as well.
All right, great. Crystal Palace, Man City. I think it's going to be an easy win for Manchester City. It's
Mm-hmm.
funny that we don't have any of the Man City assets anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think it's going to be a comfortable win and one step closer for City to clinching that
Yeah.
Premier League title.
Yeah. I think there's too much rotation in the City team, so yeah, that's why I'm not comfortable, and so none of the content creators or our creators of the week so far
Yeah.
haven't suggested City. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going for a City win here as well. 2-0 is my prediction.
All right. All right. And next is Brighton versus Leeds. I think it's going to be another KG match.
Yeah,
But given that are in like really good form,
yeah,
I'm tending towards a Leeds victory over here.
yeah. I'm going for a 1-all draw in this one. It'll be a nice match, end to end, but just one goal apiece.
Yeah, Brighton with that outer like over the top XG
Yeah,
scoring just one goal. So yeah, it's
exactly,
going to be one or draw according to
exactly.
Carling.
Yeah,
Next match is Chelsea versus Fulham. I think it's going to be another you know uh, you know low block game for Chelsea where they just finish off the game 1-0, just like last time. So
yeah.
yeah, I think Chelsea is going to win this one.
Yeah. I think Chelsea are going to ease off because they have a crucial tie against Madrid again next week. Right. So I think
Absolutely.
this will be another 1-0 victory to Chelsea.
Right. Next is Everton versus Aston Villa. Uh, I feel it's going. This is going to be a draw.
Hmm.
I don't I don't trust either of the teams. Are like really in form. Like neither of them. Like Everton had that win against Arsenal, but that was a really lucky goal for Everton. That match would have been a nil-nil draw. And Aston Villa really they scored goals, but they concede goals,
Yeah.
and eventually they draw or lose. So I feel this is going to be a cagey
Hmm.
draw, 1-1 or something like that.
Yeah. No, for you, my friend, I think this is going to be a nil-nil draw. So go on, take your points,
Uh,
and it'll be
yeah,
nice.
I
Yeah.
mean, nil-nil is better than 1-1. So
Yeah. I mean,
I'll
for your
definitely
team,
agree with
definitely a nil-nil is amazing.
yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
so it
All
could
right.
be.
So on Sunday we have Newcastle versus Arsenal. I'm going to say it's going to be a tough match for Arsenal again because
Yeah.
Newcastle, like, they had a really good comeback against Liverpool. So
Yeah.
um, I I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I want them to win, but I don't know. Newcastle is just like in that last 30 minutes, they just turn into something else and
Yeah.
somehow manage to win this game. So um, yeah, but I feel I'm gonna go with Arsenal still
Hmm.
for a win. Let's hope for a win for Arsenal. I guess 2-1 or
Yeah.
1-0, something like that.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will win 1-0 because Newcastle don't have their substitute weapon, Willock, to come off the bench and score a
Yeah,
late
against the
equalizer.
parent club,
Yeah,
so they're
so
lucky
he
that
can't
he's not
place.
gonna
Yeah, so I think,
equalize. Yeah.
yeah, so it'll be 1-0 to Arsenal, I feel.
All right, then the biggest match of this game week,
Yeah,
United versus Liverpool.
yeah,
Um, you know, the reverse fixture was really boring, dull
yeah,
game, and I guess this is going to be pretty much the same because these games are
yeah.
like hyped up so much, and they end up with these really bad draws. I have no expectation this time, but if it's a really good game, then as a neutral, I'm going to enjoy it. But if you want me to give predict what's going to happen, I think it's going to be Manchester United who's going to win this time.
All right, sounds good for me. I I'm going to I yeah, I'm going to go for a United win as well. And I think United uh, are playing really well, and I think they will have the. I mean, I think they'll come good in this game, even though it might seem as a dull match in parts. I think the United will score either very early or very late, and think they'll win 2-0 in my opinion.
It's also going to be very interesting as to how they line up for this match because remember they have the semi-final couple of days
Yeah,
like on I guess on Thursday. So it's going to be interesting on how they line up against Liverpool because they're pretty much going to be secure with the second spot. So it's going to be an
yeah.
interesting game. So moving on to the last match on Sunday, it's Spurs versus Sheffield. I feel Spurs are going to win this easily, and I just want Harry Kane to score
Yeah.
like a hat trick at least because it's Sheffield. So yeah, I'm going to go for a comfortable Spurs win.
Uh, I don't think it'll be a comfortable Spurs win. I don't think Spurs are playing that well under the new manager. I don't think they have found their mojo again. I mean, they should ideally be having a new manager bounce or whatever, but I don't think that's quite there. I think Spurs will win,
Well,
but it'll be 1
yeah.
nil, 1-0 or
Well,
2-1.
you're clearly underestimating him, right? Because he has 100% win record so far. So
Well, except the
um,
final, which he lost on Sunday,
I
right?
mean, at least in the Premier League, he has 100% win record. So
All
that counts for
right.
something.
Sure.
Um, on Monday, it's West Brom versus Wolves. And I don't care about this match.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, I don't care what happens in this match, but West Brom are like exciting team to watch lately. So I'm gonna go with them for a win.
All right. I'm going to go for a 1-all draw.
All right. And last but not the least, a team which we don't care about, Burnley against West Ham. Um, I don't know, man. West Ham, they couldn't do anything against Chelsea, so I don't know how they can bounce back after that.
Yeah.
But they're going up against Almighty Chris Wood. So
Yeah.
uh, hope for an exciting match. I would say, let's say 2-all draw, just
Yeah.
for the neutrals to enjoy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another classic West Ham 3-2 win. And
It'd be
yeah,
great. That would be great.
yeah, yeah, this match might be one of the more exciting ones of this game week.
Right.
All right, so
Awesome.
yeah, so then that's it. That's the podcast for this week. So we'll be back with you next game week. If it's a double game week, it'll be very exciting, and then we'll take a look at what we do then. So yeah, so then till then, have a good game week. Good luck with your teams, and yeah, have fun.
All right. Have a good game week, everyone, guys. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.